guys, Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great day.
We're in a totally different area that we were still working on a while back. We don't only do the Hatfield McCoy stuff. We collect, Sheila and I collect a lot of things. Autographed picture of Gene Simmons.
Yep.
Just different things. So one of the bottles from the Shawshank Redemption, the beer bottles that they had up on top of the roof.
Yep, I like it.
So we're collectors of anything, especially Hatfield McCoy. This story is not really related to the Hatfield McCoy feud.
Okay.
But it is related to the McCoys.
Oh, okay.
Sheila and I is getting ready to go to a meeting, but we thought we'd make a couple of videos on our way out. So there'll be one or two more to follow this one. The Titanic McCoys. The Titanic McCoys. Now this is not related to the feud, but you know, the McCoys came from Ireland and Scotland, of course. And on April the 12th, I think it was, 1912, that's when the Titanic left. And that had three McCoys on it. It had Agnes McCoy. Now I had an aunt also named Agnes. It's funny how all these people in the feud, Cora was my mother, and you'll hear a Bridget McCoy in here after a while. Bridget is my sister. But on board the Titanic were Agnes, she was 29 years old, her sister Alice, she was 26, and their brother Bernard, he was 24. And of course at 1:15 on April the 15th, 1912 is when they struck the iceberg. They were on the port side of the ship, the three of them. They were in third class. Barely enough money to get across, but they were on the Titanic and on their maiden voyage. Remember, the owner or the captain, somebody had made the comment. What'd he say, Sheila?
Even God himself cannot sink this ship.
Even God himself cannot sink this ship. That ship sank on its maiden voyage.
He jinxed it by saying
Don't
that.
tempt thy Lord thy God. And he showed them, of course. Anyway, they were on the port side, which is the left side of a ship. If you're not familiar with a ship, if you're looking at the bow of the ship, the front of it, the left side would be the port. And that's where their room was. And the stewards, after they hit the iceberg, they started hollering, everybody get your life vest on, life belts on, and get on deck. And they were putting women and children. Now, I'm not going to read. You can Google this, the McCoys on the Titanic, and the story will come up, very interesting. But everybody started rushing to the top deck. Of course, they were only taken, Sheila will post a picture here of Bernard and different ones that they have a picture of, but they rushed up on deck and they went to lifeboat number 16, which was on the port side, and it was women and children only. And they started trying to put the two sisters, Alice and Agnes, on the lifeboat, and they didn't want to get on without Bernard. Well, Bernard couldn't get on because it was women and children.
Right.
And they refused to get on without their brother. Well, the crewmates, whatever they are there, whatever they were, stewards, they picked them up, and one of them said they actually threw us onto the lifeboat. We were literally thrown into the lifeboat while we fought and cried, Agnes said. And so as they were being lowered down, they looked back up and they could see Bernard, their brother, and he was looking down at them. The sisters wept uncontrollably. Here's a picture of their mom and dad. Sheila will post these pictures at the end, but their dad's name was John and their mother's name was Bridget. Bridget Cole and John McCoy. And they actually had 13 children. One thing about the Hatfields and McCoys back in them days, they knew how to have the offspring.
Dang.
A small village from Longford, Ireland. Longford. And they were headed to America. And she'll post a picture here of the room that they were in. She'll post a picture of the White Star Line, their menu where they were eating at. And for the three McCoys, of course, it was a marvelous dream to come to America and so forth. Of course, it would end. Would come to a jolting end at 11:40, the night of the 14th, when the Titanic struck the iceberg.
Okay.
With the starboard side. That means on the right-hand side is what struck the iceberg. They're on the left-hand side of the boat. So, as the two sisters are being lowered down in this lifeboat, Bernard, their brother, sees them going down. He knows the ship's going down anyway. He's only 24 years old. He knows the ship's going to sink anyway. Eventually, he's going to be in that water. Now, he looks at that boat, that lifeboat, and there's at least 20 more spaces on that lifeboat. They were sending these lifeboats down. They didn't have enough lifeboats to begin with, and they were sending them down half full or even under half.
Wow, that's sad.
There was over 20 spots left on that boat, and he thought, well, I'm going to be in the water in a few minutes anyway. Now, this is him talking later on when they interviewed him, because all three of these McCoys survived. They were the only three McCoys on the Titanic, and all three of them survived.
Wow.
There were no Hatfields on the roster, so there was no Hatfields on the Titanic at that time.
Okay.
If anybody's wondering. So he looks down, this boat's half empty. He's thinking, well, I couldn't get on it up here. I'm gonna be in the water in a minute anyway. So he jumped overboard. He jumped into the freezing water, 28 degrees, and they said you could last maybe 30 minutes at the least before you died of hypothermia. When he hit the water and started swimming, one of his sisters recognized him. And they started hollering to go get their brother, go get their brother. Well, he comes up on the side of the boat, and he's not taking a spot from nobody because there's spots that are empty there.
Right.
But the people didn't want nobody else in the boat.
That's sad.
You know, they didn't even go back when all these people, just like in the movie, that part of the movie's factual, because when they went back, when the boat sunk and all these people screaming and hollering, everybody was going away. They was afraid they'd get overrun and be sunk. He's the only one in there at the time. He's the only one trying to get on that boat, and the steward was hitting him with the oar. He hit his hands on the side of the boat and then hit him in top of the head.
Oh, snap.
Now Agnes, she told her sister to get Bernard in the boat, and she tackled the steward.
Way to go, sis.
And she took him to the ground and began to flog on him while the rest of them helped Bernard into the boat. And all three of those people did survive. And it's an interesting story. Again, I'm not going to go over the whole... When the form came up, I recognized that this is her own statement to the newspaper. I recognized it as Bernard. I cited to my sister, who was nearer to him than I, helped the poor boy take hold of the side of the boat, and as I staggered to his rescue, several persons pushed me back and saw a seaman strike Bernard's hands with an oar, and then he tried to beat him off, striking him on the head and shoulders with the oar. It was more than I could stand, and calling for Alice, I made for the seaman. With more strength than I thought I ever possessed, I threw the man to the bottom of the boat.
Good for her.
And held him there fast. Yes, maybe I did hit him once or twice, but I think I was justified under the circumstances. In the meantime, Alice helped the poor boy over the side and lifted him to safety. I think everyone on board the lifeboat was highly elated and perfectly satisfied that our brother was safe with us. We need him here with us, as any two sisters do.
Aww. The
McCoy sisters huddled together around Bernard, warming him and his frozen body.
Aww.
And it's actually got a lifeboat, a picture of the lifeboat number 16 unloading passengers to the Carpathia. That's who came to rescue them, and that's lifeboat number 16. She'll put a picture at the end of this video. No woman or child was going to take that place in the lifeboat once it was launched. So he really didn't take a spot from anybody.
Right.
He jumped in, he just took a spot that was open. The shortest and most tragic of their post-Titanic lives was that of Bernard. He worked on the trolley system in New York City for a time until he was drafted and served in the U.S. Army in World War I. That's what I like about the McCoys, guys. The McCoys, all through history, you'll see where they served in the military. That's why Sheila and I are so crazy about military people. and get so upset over stolen valor and things like that. Because listen to the rest of the story on this guy. Now, he could have stayed there. He could have worked on the trolley. He could have dodged a draft, but he didn't. Not even from this country. He's already drafted. U.S. Army in World War I. He was a victim of mustard gas in France during the war and suffered health problems from that to the rest of his life. He developed spinal cancer from that mustard gas and died at the Veterans Administration Hospital in the Bronx on July the 9th, 1945.
Bless his heart.
I'm not going to go over the rest of it. It's a very interesting story.
It is.
But again, nothing to do with the Hatfields and McCoys, but like Sheila says, sometimes it's adventures. We're not on an adventure, but we are.
Talking
did you
about.
show that over here?
I didn't show it up close.
We are. There's a turtle man and his friends, and there's the guys on Shawshank drinking them a beer. That old can't think of his name now. I like that guy. And
Was his name Edward,
some of our
Was his name Edward?
No, it was, we gotta get that wall there fixed. We got a lot of work to do. Is it on me or you? I'm sorry. We got a lot of work to do in this room.
We're still
and
working on
some of the rest of them. We've got 6 rooms down through here on this side. We're actually over top of the other building.
Right.
Downstairs underneath us is the Hubert Bay McCoy part, where the motorcycle is, my casket, the wagon. You go back into the shooting range. And that's where we're at now. There's actually 6 rooms here, the same size as that cabin room, plus this exterior hallway that goes the length of the building.
Yeah.
So we've got some big plans. We wanted to put a Casey County, make part of this into a Casey County museum to honor the veterans here in Casey County and Casey County and Liberty history at one time. So we're not sure what we're going to do yet, or if that's ever going to come about, or any of it. Well, at this time, like I said, the family's in limbo. We're not sure what we're going to do, but we just thought we'd come over here and do a video on this side, because you've never seen our viewers that's watching us throughout the rest of the museum in different areas. You've never seen this part.
Right.
So Sheila will do the closing on it, and we'll catch you next time.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great morning. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.